if I could get Catherine up here to tell a little bit about what we're doing at Sharing the Shoulders of Giants to make that happen.
My inbox, since we've started on social media, first of all, I have to say, has just been a hot box of people asking me, what's a giant? What's a titan? And how can I get in? What do I got to do? And it's taken me a while to figure it out. First of all, we had to figure out what exactly is Sharing the Shoulders of Giants. Define it. I think it was based on Isaac Newton. And using the shoulders of entrepreneurial giants, or giants of such intellect that some of them just really don't know what to do with themselves. They trip over, themselves. And it's sometimes needed to define, am I an entrepreneur? Yeah. Do I consider myself successful? How do you measure success? Is it dollars in your bank account? Is it you waking up in the morning and actually saying, God, I'm glad to be alive? Or are you one of those people that are literally going, where's my freaking coffee? Then I can function, maybe. Well, Sharing the Shoulders of Giants is inviting you as the Ottawa entrepreneur community to join our community. And we will stand on each other's shoulders, and we will support each other. We're not going to invite Walmart, or Canadian Tire or anything, because they're just too big. They're monsters. They don't need help. It's the little guys that are trying to make a difference in their own lives, and in some cases in the lives of others, that you need a leg up. You need support. You need to do some cross pro bono, maybe. Maybe you're in need of a marketing service, but you can't afford thousands of dollars. But you know what? Maybe you're offering a service that this gentleman over here can need. So then you're going to talk. We're going to make those introductions for you. But we're going to make sure that the introductions are of a caliber that is actually going to make you more successful. Because we're not going to introduce you to Joe Schmo that has no reputation, is wet behind the ears. He's not really going to be helpful to your business. Why would we bother? That's not going to make us look very good. And we're here not just to look good, but to make you look good and to make you successful and give you that boost. And everybody's asking me, well, how in the world do I get in? Basically, what we're focusing on right now is to gain momentum, to gain recognition, to make sure that people understand that we're not, out for the big money grab. As a matter of fact, I'll let you know a little secret. Sharing the Shoulders of Giants actually turned down a very large investor. Why? Of $1 million. Why do we do that? Crazy. No, we didn't like the paperwork. We didn't like the way that they worked. We didn't want to do business with them. Would have been really easy to accept that check. But our conscience couldn't allow it because we didn't like the way that they wanted the network, the community to work. We wanted to do it our way. And from those of us that have actually run successful businesses, we know what it takes in order to do that. The way that they wanted to exploit people, not cool. So, thanks to the generous support of a lot of giants that Mr. Erb has been talking to, we've decided that if you're an entrepreneur and you're successful, or you think you're successful, and you think that you're doing good for the community, give yourself an audition. Give yourself, I shouldn't say audition, give yourself a title. Say, I want in. Pick me. And then we're going to have you fill out a little form. I'm going to check out your LinkedIn profile. And we're going to see whether or not you've got the caliber to actually be a part of our community. And if you pass muster, we'll let you in as a candidate to be a giant or a subject matter expert or a titan if you really are Mr. Thunder in your marketplace. And then you're going to have to audition. You're going to have to provide references. We're going to be asking those to come forward that have done business with you, vouch for you, go on record. And if you're able to maintain this good behavior, your hall pass will then turn into a title that you can add to your signature that will be known in the entrepreneur community, and people will understand what it means to be a giant or to be a titan. So when you're like myself, for instance, and I'm thinking, yeah, I ran a successful company for 14 years. Yeah, I've been out in the marketplace for other nonprofits, raised money for no other reason except for the fact that I wanted to do good and help people. Would I consider myself to be a giant because I'm actually supporting others? Sure I do. And I've been told I have a kick-ass LinkedIn profile, so that's good. But it's going to be going in front of my colleagues and explaining to them why I feel I deserve that title, and showing them over the next 3 or 4 months of constant service, constant dedication, that I get to then add that to my signature. And because we all know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that will certainly benefit from being a part of this community, and nonprofits are certainly going to benefit from it. And here's where Paul and I differ. I said that he said he wants to do good for others. I mean, in tech for good, humanity over profits. That's fabulous. But there are a lot of nonprofit organizations out there like Ability First that really do need help as far as funding. And that's why we are going to provide them the space. We're going to provide them the platforms like, GoFundMe pages and social media marketing, and we're going to come back to that one in a minute. That are providing you some of the funds that you need to do your fantastic, your motivational Mondays, your group sessions that you do is just absolutely fantastic. And I know that the kids and the parents, for that matter, look forward to that outing every Monday. And we need to recognize and reward the entrepreneurs that are making a difference to other entrepreneurs and to nonprofits, and which we will do gladly. So right now, we're using GoFundMe campaigns to bootstrap our efforts. The money's got to come from somewhere. And so I want you, later on when you leave here tonight, think about it. Do you want to be a part of the community? And you got to figure it out. What title you'd like for yourself. Are you a subject matter expert? Are you a titan, really big and up there? Are you a giant? And you simply write an email, self-identify, hashtag tech for good, and start the process. We're still defining part of the process. That's something that we're hopefully, now that I'm full-time with Sharing the Shoulders, as opposed to just moonlighting, I'm going to have that time to dedicate just to finish those fine touches. But I said, I see this, most people say, you're crazy, you quit your job? Yes, I did. Can I afford to do that? No, I cannot. But I felt so strongly that I know that this is going to take off, that I wanted to give a boost to Sharing the Shoulders of Giants itself. And I figure that helps my candidacy too. There you go. It all ties in. So we're granting members based solely on their audition performance after that 3 or 4 months. And the curated lists of titled members may be used to provide requested introductions for qualified lead generators. So that means we're going to have a list of people that are actually qualified to do what they do, and they're good. And when you're looking for a service, we're going to introduce you. Now, the part I was referring to that I said Paul and I disagree is the fact that some people have come to me personally, and I get these emails of, Catherine, I just graduated from college, or I'm a startup and I have no experience. How am I going to get something on my resume? You do what everybody else does. You volunteer. And I'd like to know one nonprofit alive that is not going to say no, that is not going to say yes to free help. Who's going to do that? All the ones I volunteered for, they said yes to me. I'm sure Christina's got volunteers in her organization because they care. She's not going to say, no, you can't help. Not today. But when I talked about social media and how we've tried to gain recognition, not only for our organization, but for Christina's organization, and we've done it through social media. Now we have, even if somebody doesn't like something or comment something, we get a report of analytics as far as how many reviews it actually has had. And that number has gone up exponentially in the last 2 weeks. And people ask me, it's like, well, does social media marketing really work? I ask them if they're living underneath a rock. Because I want to tell you something. Doing the business I did, I grew up in Oshawa. Had my business there, got married there, had my kids there, divorced there. And started a new life then to take my entrepreneurial spirit, my administrative skills, and start having other people manage their businesses. So I went to the big city of Toronto, and I will tell you that was a rude awakening. It was an eye-opening experience. And I was right downtown in the older part of Toronto, on Queen Street, just down from the Eaton Centre, and Jarvis and Church, right across the street from Moss Park. And if you've ever been there, you've never seen the area, don't go to the area. Because I'll tell you something, before I started working in Toronto, we used to go down and look at I'm like a little kid, I love the Christmas windows. And I went down to the Eaton Centre every Christmas, and I would look in these big starry windows and look at the displays and go, oh my God, they need to do this at home. That's because Oshawa doesn't have the money that people in Toronto do. That's why our windows don't look like that. But I used to look at the homeless situation in the core. And coming from Oshawa, that I see all these people, in sleeping bags on heat vents and that kind of thing, and I'm thinking, and I see people going down the street, and they're not making eye contact at all. They're looking at their phones, they're looking at the floor, they're looking at each other. They're looking anywhere but at the problem. And I thought, you cold-hearted bastards, are you blind? Can you not see this? So then I start working downtown, and I have to see it every day. And there's panhandlers in the subway, there's panhandlers on the subway, on the streetcar, on the corner. I literally looked at a group of homeless guys that asked me for money when I was trying to get to work. And I said, if I was to give to every single person that asked me, I'd be living in that cardboard box right over there beside you. It opened my eyes, though, to a problem. And Paul touched on it as far as our economy right now. It sucks. So we have to try and do for ourselves to make it better. Now, I'm only one person. And I went home that night, and I thought, I'm going to help. I'm going to make a difference. And I wrote a blog called Helping the Homeless. That's on my LinkedIn. And I described the area, the situation, exactly what was going on. They're planning on migrating, most of them, dispersing from the area. I'm like, oh, that's going to fix it. No one's going to want to buy a condo in that area, so let's just move the homeless. Okay. I think we're going to end up like Vancouver, where they're living in train boxes down, on the abandoned seashore line. That's where I can see that happening. That's where they're shipping them. So I went home, I wrote this blog, and I asked everybody on my LinkedIn, and I think at that time I had about 1,000. And I said, not everybody has premiums, so here's my personal email address. If you'd like to give blankets, clothing, I want to do blessing bags, things with like razors and soaps and socks and Tim Hortons cards and that kind of thing, then please email me. I will come get it. Do you know how many emails I got that year? Not one. So 1 year later, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to try one more time. And I'm going to share it again, and I'm going to see if anybody nibbles, anybody bites at it. And I got a big nibble. I had drawn the attention of a local celebrity named Garth Riley, who has his own Rogers show called The Riley Perspective. And he invited me onto his TV show. I'm not going to reshare the video because they really do put 30 or 40 pounds on. But and he challenged his followers. Everybody on Facebook, everybody on LinkedIn, posted a video, live viral, him and I side by side saying, this is what we're doing and you can be a part of it, make a difference. In 2.5 weeks, we raised $500 in cash, 50 blankets, over 300 pounds of clothing, and we did 100 blessing bags. And I didn't drop them off to a shelter. That's tacky. I actually went out with my daughter and my husband and we delivered them ourselves directly to the homeless. And this year, we started early. And we've already raised $1,000 and over 100 blankets and the makings of 50 blessing bags so far. I'm stealing all my hotel stuff every night so that we can actually put those in, in the Ziploc baggies. And this time we're going to go local and we're actually going to help the homeless in Durham instead of Toronto. And I'm hoping that next year we can target Ottawa if I can get those in this community to help our new organization called Warm the Heart. But that the little nonprofit that's just starting, social media was the ticket. Social media, me sharing on LinkedIn, sharing on Facebook, sharing on Instagram, sharing on Twitter. And I encourage every single one of you that if you're not good at it, find somebody who is. Do that pro bono, community sharing thing and get out there because you will find that it makes a difference and that digital media marketing is certainly the way to go. And it's the cheapest. You just got to sit there on your computer. It's time consuming. What's that? Yeah. Have your cup of coffee, sit at your computer. There you go. But this is how you can make a difference in your business, in your community, and for other nonprofits like yourself.